thank you for all your feedbacks on the first draft of the plot. And as I said earlier, I am a little bit stuck at the moment, so I listed several questions or thoughts that I would like to share, and maybe you can give me some feedbacks on this. It's really interesting for me that before I start to write the first draft of the plot, I thought I was really simply into talking to a machine. However, I found that's not totally true because, well, I guess deeply, I'm still eager to seek for interaction with real people. I kept questioning myself that can one really be satisfied with having a relationship with a machine? So I got a little bit confused if this is if what I am supposed to write was the right direction or not. Also, I wonder if it's relevant to point out why would someone escape from reality to a machine in this performance? Is it more like a given circumstances, or we need to convince the audience why? I don't even know if this is a common sense or not. Based on what Joe's feedback, I think it's also quite interesting to talk about the limits of a machine. Like, well, I guess this is widely discussed in movies or in plays. Like, no matter how perfect a machine can be, there is still some limits that makes it different from human beings. Maybe I can talk a little bit more about this in this play. But on the other hand, the desire to create something as real as a human being can be the other direction. So to be honest, I haven't had a clear thoughts yet which direction to go, and so I was like hoping maybe listen to you guys' opinions, and then I'll maybe what's the best way.
I think that you should be careful not to determine your opinion about it, and spend some time letting the questions clarify and asking questions instead of giving answers.
There are many ways to work on a script.
Yes.
As Kevin suggested, you could just start writing, and then something pops up. But I think you need to go back to the structure and also think about what is the story, because when I read the first draft, the small draft here that you sent us, I think there was a lot of interesting things, but there was also a lot of questions. And maybe it's easier for you to start working if you kind of think about the questions. Some of the questions that I put in the script that I sent you back and I think there's a lot of questions in that you need to look at. Mm-hmm. They're dramaturgical, but I think they are important to know what you really want to write into. But I think one of the main questions for me is to visualize how, where am I? Am I standing like on a stage? What kind of setting am I in? How am I? Is it you standing on the stage, producing your own story? And how are you? You pointed out those things before in your questions. Are there real persons besides you? Are they looking like you? Think there are some real practical stuff that relates to how far you can really go with the story. Mm-hmm. So if I go back to one of my really key questions is, what is this person's want and what is this person's need? I would love that you could kind of visualize what you see, what we see when we see this on the stage. Is it a voice? Is it a person that's really there? Is it what kind of reality are we in? Do you have thoughts about that?
When it comes to these multimedia style of staging, my knowledge is a little bit limited. Well, it's quite limited actually. So, for example, this is a solo show. That's a fact. So we couldn't change that. However, I still want to create, like, for example, like in the first draft of the plot, that I lost my love, and then when we recreate this lost love, what kind of image would he appear on stage? Apparently, we couldn't find the other actor to play this, so we need to use other format to present it. And the only thing I could think of is, unfortunately, just the projection of that. But I wonder if there's anything else. But unfortunately, my experience is very little about that. So I wonder if Michael has some thoughts on that.
We work at the Culture Yard with 3 projects where we work with holographic pictures. I mean, like pictures standing in the air that are in 3D.
Okay.
And I mean, the way that you talk about your story, you really think that, I mean, you really imagine people standing like holograms, standing next to you. But maybe it's also too easy, if you understand what I mean.
Maybe I list some example for Pao first, because I think he need a little more imagination about this technology. Yeah, maybe some example for you.
That would be great. Yes.
So that, I mean, there is a lot of possibilities. The big problem is to choose the right ones, so to say.
What's the language of your play? Are you going to speak in Chinese or English?
For some reason, well, my first instinct is to write this play in English, and I think it's also more practical, isn't it? It's like it's much easier for us to discuss and develop all this idea together. Yeah. Otherwise, I need to write it in Chinese and then translate it into English and then stuff like that.
As far as language goes, any AI program that uses language that's realistic would be language agnostic. You know, it would the underlying technology would be separate from the language, and then the language would be generated for any language. So you know, it could be an omniscient character who could speak in Chinese sometimes and English other times, or Danish other times. From the AI perspective, it's usually when you design these systems, you really do try to abstract out the underlying knowledge and understanding from the actual surface realization of the language. So you could have it be multilingual easily. I mean, that would be very believable.
Okay.
That's very interesting, I think. You can go directly from one language to another.
Yes. Yes, simultaneously.
Sort of. How fine, but there must be some kind of latency on translation like that, isn't there?
It would, well, yeah, and I just used the term translation, and that's wrong. It's just the underlying, there would be no translation. The underlying representation of this character's knowledge would be separate from language, and it would just be on the way out. You would either send it through the Chinese generator or the English generator.
Would it be possible for Pao to talk in Chinese, and then that would be a voice that would instantly translate it into English?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Yeah, and there you would have presumably some latency, but if it's the 22nd century, maybe you wouldn't.
Exactly. How is there a visual designer connected to the project now, or how is that?
I don't know. No.
Well, ideally, Blaire is in charge of that as well. But
okay.
I can do the visual part, the take. You know, maybe I can process some programming something, but the real video is so different.
Yeah.
It's about art. About it's different.
Yeah, it's,
But maybe,
so
but maybe there is a thing there that you should think about, because
Yeah.
I think it's very important that you. I mean, it sounds as if Blaire is more like a composer, a programmer, for the sound concept, and Pao is more like the performer, the artist, the writer. And then, but we circle around a lot of visual questions. How should this series? Is it just one of those mobile devices that you can flash projection on the wall, or is it a real 3D setup with hologram pictures, or what is it? I mean, so I think it's important to attend to look at these questions as well.
Yeah.
Derjk, any suggestion?
I don't know. I think maybe ask the producer. Yeah, because I don't know what's at the beginning. This performance might be quite simple because it's a kind of presentation and less for like 40 minutes. Yeah, and we are in my imagination. I'm thinking maybe Pao is only is his one-man show, only one anchor
Like a talk show
on the stage, right? But I don't know if there's a projection or hologram, something, some sort of something, because in my imagination it's more like talking to a machine. That's why I'm saying Michael's just say it could be too simple, too easy to just put projection on the stage. But at this moment, I'm not sure, because Pao needs more, I don't know how to say that, warmth on the stage, not just one person. He needs someone hug, or he needs more deeps inside. And I'm not sure if only voice can do that. And if can't, then maybe we should ask the producer, or we should wait for the story coming from Pao, and let's see how it goes.
Well, I think definitely we need to move forward on the script before we can make determinations like that, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.